Now, what you can see here is some words that are all like scribbled up, but you can pretty easily tell that it's just some words written backwards. So I just went ahead and just wrote out what the words are. I just flipped them around, and it does start from the bottom. So this is actually why we are here, a little bit of backstory, and it just says what we did of this Inquisition. So what it appears, at least our sentence is, accused of having bartered your soul for the immortality of a puppet. Ooh, maybe I'll be an Inquisitor. Let's see. Let's give him some. Let's see. What would we be here? Could be Cockney-ish. No. It'd be much more. It's an Inquisition, probably Spanish or something, but nonetheless. Accused of having bartered your soul for the immortality of a puppet, thereby handing over your free will to a blasphemous puppeteer, you shall suffer the torment of the pendulum. Should the body perish and come back to life, it shall be cast without hesitation into the flame of the eternal fire. The only other alternative granted is the pit. And it seems like we end up in the pit. So that is where we are currently. And from here, the candle is about to go out. If you want to examine the walls, go to 34. If you want to look into the pit, go to 24. I don't know. If you want to rest in order to gather strength, go to 15. The question was asked, is this the legit Spanish Inquisition? I don't know. Because the Poe... It was Italian. It was American, like the Gothic horror setting, like Boston, I believe. Or Baltimore? Maybe I'm just thinking of the Ravens. It's football season. They just got their butts kicked today by Houston. But does he do things like Cast of Montellado? Yeah, so I am curious. That's a good question. Is this like the Spanish Inquisition? What Inquisition is this? So, of course, yeah, my mind goes to the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, Baltimore. I guess there were inquisitors if you're thinking of like the Blair Witch Trials. You know, the Blair Witch Trials. Like the Salem Witch Trials or something like that. I guess they would have had a Grand Inquisitor. I've done Crucible. I should know. Were they? I don't think they were called Inquisitors, though, if memory serves. Yeah, I can't remember. We'll find out soon enough. Boston. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, honestly, that's a great question. And I don't know. And what I like about this game is we are kind of figuring this out as we go. I'm pretty sure that, so there's 34 again. So I think this is where, now we're making to the episode I did not record. I read it to myself just to see what was up ahead. And that's when I realized, oh, because I'm putting these little cartoon images up, the algorithm is thinking that it's made for kids, and it was shutting down the comments immediately. So I had to go back in and turn the comments back on, but it would not release the video in the same way that it didn't release my, I learned it from watching you, 80s PSA spoof, which is a great, funny video. Watch it. That's actually one of my proudest videos. I think it's really funny. So you can check that out. But nonetheless, I think we are now moving into, especially for you two, now we are all in new territory, and this is where I have a vague memory of reading these things. So we're probably going to hit some other ones, and I'm going to start doing some major flubs. The walls and ceiling of the prison are made of metal and roughly engraved with religious symbols and allegorical figures. Crowned skulls, black cats, disturbing and grotesque phantasms, complex maps filled with numbers. The colors seemed faded and stained, probably due to dampness in the cell. Two figures in particular stand out. So what we have here is we have these two skulls, and on these two skulls there are crowns, and then there is this line of Latin underneath, I think it's Latin, that says something close to in medio stat virtus, or virtus, I don't know. And what that translates to is the best option lies somewhere between two extremes. So yeah, virtue stands in the middle, apparently. So yeah, the best option lies between two extremes. Actually, this is the one puzzle, with the exception of the mirror puzzle, that I figured out pretty quick. But I'll give you a second to figure this one out. But yes, the virtue stands in the middle, something like that. Actually, I know what the... I don't know. I know how to solve it. I just don't remember what the answer is. Let's see here. That's right. And there is a delay on the chat, which I think that's set up to prevent people from like spamming the channel. But exactly. So yeah, I kept reading. I did reread the passage thinking there was something in there. I was like, okay, there's religious symbols, allegorical figures, crowned skulls, black cats, disturbing and grotesque phantasms, complex maps filled with numbers. The colors seem to fade, blah, 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 blah. Has nothing to do with that. It's all to do with the picture. So it just says in the middle is virtue. There are 4 points on the leftmost crown. There are 10 points on the rightmost crown. Between 4 and 10 is 7. So 7 is the answer. And I did actually read passage 7 out of curiosity. And I was like, this doesn't line up very well. But in the back of this book, there are the answers to like double check and make sure you're right. But yeah, so it is actually 7. So it is the difference between the points on the crown. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. So here we go, off to 7. And this one I read, and I think this may be a choice. Let's see. This is as far as my knowledge goes. Oh, here we go, right here. This is as far as my knowledge goes. You look up, the feeble light from the candle too weak for you to make out all the details, but you discern a strange mechanism fixed to the roof exactly above the table. There is something that looks like a gigantic shaft. You have no idea what your jailer's wicked ingenuity has in store for you, but you won't let them take you by surprise. But you're running out of time. You hear the sound of footsteps approaching on the other side of the wall. So, there were 2 butts by each other, so I got a little tongue-tied. If you want to attack the person coming towards you with a bone shard or dagger, we don't have either. But this bone shard is very popular. Or if you'd rather hide your weapon under the table and let yourself be taken victim, jot it down and go to 16. So yeah, that's kind of like, did we answer that right? The 4 and 10, and I did fact check it, but and it because it's if you'd rather hide your weapon, we don't have a weapon, but it's making it look like jot down that you hid your weapon underneath the table, just for some other purpose, and then just go to 16. So I think we just go straight to 16. If we can attack, I'm at down, but it sounds like we can't. Exactly. This was a little kind of worded weirdly, but no, we want to attack the person, but we have to have a bone shard or dagger, it looks like. Or if we'd rather hide your weapon, which we don't have, under the table. Yeah, again, that's just like, is this the right answer? Is 7 the right answer? But it is, again, because I checked in the back of the book. But I think we just automatically have to go to 16. So, let's check it out. I hate hearing myself on echo. That's why I have this in my hand. All right, 16. Please, not the face. Ooh, 16. Again, I don't know if we have this weapon. Spoiler. Whoa, this is a long one. What? Oh, we allowed ourselves to be taken. Man. All right, let's see what happens. Holy moly. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm just reading ahead. Let's go. When you awaken, you discover that your limbs are tied to the table. Oh, it's like the pit and the pendulum. With a long leather strap that wraps around your body several times, leaving only your head and left arm free so you can feed yourself from an earthenware plate by your side. A sulfurous light illuminates the cell from a slit just over a centimeter wide at the base of the entire perimeter of the walls, which appear to be elevated from the floor. Looking up, you examine the prison ceiling. It is 12 meters high and divided into small plates similar to those on the walls. The largest one, directly above you, is decorated with a fresco depicting death. But instead of a scythe in its hand, it holds something that resembles an enormous pendulum, the kind seen on antique clocks. As you stare at it, you realize that it is moving. It oscillates from side to side with short and slow movements, but in a matter of minutes, shoo, it swings more than a meter wider, and its speed has also increased. And that is not all. With each knell, you perceive that the pendulum is descending until you can make out that its lowest extremity is a crescent of shimmering steel as sharp as a razor blade. The slow but unnoticeable approach of the blade upsets you so much that you barely notice a nearby sound. When you see where it is coming from, you look down at the floor and see it has been invaded by a storm of rats. They're swarming out of the cracks in the wall and making their way towards you in droves. They move quickly, their eyes starving, attracted to their future meal. All of your objects have been confiscated, and you won't get them back, so erase them from your notes unless you've hidden them from your jailers. If you hit a bone shard or a roughly hewn dagger under the table and want to use them now, go to 26. Man, we do not have that bone shard. Where do we get that thing? If you don't have any of those items, or you'd rather not use them, you can use the rats to free yourself, go to 8, or you can let yourself die. So finally, vote. I can make a poll, but I think it's just the two of you. I may as well do it because it's just kind of fun. Let me do a little poll. Here we go. Poll. What are we gonna do? So, well, actually, I guess it's just free or die. Yeah, I know, right? That's kind of a lame poll. Oh, it's a yes or no question. Okay, free yourself? That's all it has to be. Free yourself. I think polls are fun. Must contain... Oh, don't be annoying. We have the rats. Oh, here it is. Why would they be removing him if this is his punishment? It sounds like he could easily die there. Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. Maybe it's all in his head. Okay, we're persuading the rats. No, okay, which makes sense. I guess like your blood from the ropes or something, they'll like chew through it. Okay, let's see what happens. A fun place. Fun place. Oh, there's, okay, rats and a pendulum. Slowly and relentlessly, the blade descends towards your chest. Soon, the oscillating contraption will bring the steel razor's sharp blade in direct contact with your clothing, and at this thought, your soul is suddenly filled with a cold, acute awareness of despair. You observe the heavy leather strap that holds you down and see it is all in one piece. The first downward stroke of the sharp crescent on any stretch of it could cut through it, which would allow you to untie yourself, but you need more freedom of movement. For the past hour, the table has been swarming with rats. They are ferocious, bold, ravenous. The cluster of red eyes glare at you, waiting only for your immobility to begin their banquet. You recall the presence of a plate of food by your side. If you smear some of the food on the leather strap, it might induce the rats to gnaw through it. These are kind of weird. If you want to try smearing the food, go to 28. If you don't want to bother, go to 19. I'm assuming we're going to use the leather strap, but please, my friends, vote. And I have to stop reading the chat when I'm reading the passages because I saw the cheese thing out of the corner of my eye and it made me laugh. Smear it is. Okay, these are pretty easy choices here. 28, off we go. Okay. You smear the leather straps that tie you down with the victuals on the plate. Victuals. Let's try this again. I'm going to say victuals. I'm probably wrong. You smear the leather straps that tie you down with the victuals on the plate and then lie still as if lifeless. Noticing your immobility, some of the more audacious rats clamber up and sniff at the straps, which signals a general assault. Soon that revolting living carpet scuttles up the wood and crowds onto the table. The rhythmic movement of the pendulum doesn't bother the rodents. They throw themselves onto the smeared strap and stay out of its way. The vile creatures crawl over your face. Their gilded lips? I don't know the word. The vile creatures crawl over your face. Their gilded lips meet yours. It's hard to breathe under the weight of their pressure. Disgust overcomes you, but you manage to remain perfectly still. Man, it's victuals, right? That's the fancy way to spell vittles? Okay, that makes sense. I'm a Shakespeare actor. It probably comes up in Shakespeare a lot, too. If you have or have had a bone shard, where are we getting this bone shard? We do not have a bone shard, so let's go to 32. You're close. Ouch, I just punched my shelf. You're close. You can feel the leather strap fraying. In more than one place, they've already worn through. Your calculations were correct. The strap gives way just as the pendulum strikes your chest and tears your clothes. You have to wait for 2 more oscillations before you can use the gigantic blade to your advantage to free yourself completely. In the meantime, the razor cuts through your nerves, inflicting terrible pain. The moment of escape arrives. You grab a rat and throw it against the wall, causing its companions to disperse instantly. With careful, steady movements, you wriggle sideways beyond the trajectory of the blade. You fall to the floor and lose consciousness for a few moments. Man, what have we got against rats? And, wow, Mike, what have you been writing? Why are they so mad at you? For the next thing... currently, there is a thing where it disables long messages. So, Mike, all of your messages keep getting in trouble, and you're spamming caps. Again, these things are set in for, I guess, bots and trolls. But nonetheless, sorry, all of your comments are getting deleted. Okay, yes. Where is this bone shard and where is this dagger? Yes, Mike. What's its name? It's something bot. Something bot is definitely cyberbullying you. Okay, I have no idea where this dagger is and no idea where this bone shard is. Apparently, it is the strongest artifact in this area. So, nonetheless, and that rat, we just decided just to take a rat and hurl it. That could be a weapon. Okay, so if you still have the roughly hewn dagger, nope. If you don't have it, or if you've used it, go to 14. Okay. Why did these people like tie us to this thing and then leave? It's very James Bond. I don't understand the rationale of our imprisoners. That's the right way to say that. Here we go. Okay, it's about to ask about a well that we haven't filled. You get up with some relief, but the pleasant feeling doesn't last. The drawings on the walls, which initially seemed faded, have taken on a startling and most intense luminescence. The gaze of those weird figures glares at you from 1,000 directions, gleaming with a sinister glow. As you breathe in the incandescent stream of raging hot iron, a suffocating odor pervades the prison, which gradually is closing in on you, while a deepening dark glow blazes in your eyes. You pant and gasp and shrink away from the red-hot metal wall towards the center of the cell. If you filled the well, go to 5. If not, have fun falling in the well. All right, 22. We're bouncing around a lot. Oh, here we go. This looks bad. You regenerate. Okay, sorry, spoilers. I'm excited. You lose control, faced with the terrible destruction that surrounds your avatar. Interesting choice of words, avatar. The thought of the cool depths of the well soothes its soul like a salve. Now, freed of your bond, the avatar approaches the edge and looks over the edge. See, this is where I was talking about the translation. Sometimes it's pretty good, but sometimes it's a little goofy. Now freed of your bond, the avatar approaches the edge and looks over the edge and into its depths. The glow from the incandescent ceiling above illuminates all the crannies of the depths. Your avatar leaps into the dark water only a moment before being incinerated. The avatar has suicidal tendencies. Take note of this condition. It takes place of the last one and erase any objects that you may have found. You regenerate at 38. What is happening? Is this in our head? Okay, okay, so we could have other maladies, but suicidal tendencies. Let's add that to our list. Okay, we're getting... Are we getting somewhere? I guess we're rejuvenating. A lot of trouble we could start with where we were falling. Yeah, I know. What, what is happening? Okay, we found the table in 6, and we have suicidal tendencies. Was that the name of a band in the 80s? Or 90s, I mean, Suicidal Tendencies? So. What is this called? This is our condition. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm good to keep moving because we finally kind of just got a little bit of wind in our sail. Let's keep cruising for a bit, and then maybe when we get like a good riddle, we can stop and do all that. Okay, we're back in a cell. Let's see what happens. You regain consciousness in the dark of your cell in the fortress. Again, fortress. Hard word to say when missing this tooth. You regain consciousness in the dark of your cell in the fortress. A harsh roar fills the air like a wave, and a cannonball breaks through the wall of the prison. What? The violent crash jolts you awake, making your heart jump as a dull, whistling sound blots out all sounds for as long as it takes you to drag yourself over the rubble. You make your way over the sharp rocks, inhaling the dense mist that now fills the narrow, dark alley. And not noticing the smell of gunpowder or any trace of bombs or heavy artillery, your gaze rests on the deserted street that opens up between 2 rows of old crumbling houses. You make your way through the deserted alley, and, for a few moments, the memories of your past life come to you. You have the feeling of hearing the echo of a battle. You can detect the report of gunfire, the faint sound of the horses' hooves, and the diffused clamor of soldiers, but all seeming to come from the bottom of a well. You try to decipher the words of these ghostly images, when suddenly behind you come the all-too-real voices of your jailers, who fumble at the lock to the cell where you are kept, erasing all glimmers of that strange illusion, except for an unsettling sense of déjà vu. Your mind is confused. You're lost. But finally, you can catch breath. The air of freedom, at least for the time being. Yes. So yeah, the chat is now basically saying we're like Sisyphus rolling the rock up the hill for eternity, and I've roped you guys into a never-ending stream. Yes, just the 2 of you. Okay. If you want to look back at the prison, or if you'd rather escape down the alley, let's get the F out. That's what Mike's for. How are you feeling about that? Are we getting out? Are we looking back at the prison? I don't know why we'd do that, but I have no idea what's happening. Now this took a turn. I'm waiting to hear what is going on. Very good question. So do you want to, what are you feeling? Should we look back at the prison or escape? Michael went with escape. If you pick prison, then I will be the tiebreaker. Never look back. There you go. Okay. If you want to look back. Okay, 171. Ooh, that's probably the highest number. Ooh, don't look. A lot of spoilers. Ah! Wow. Like I said, this, there's, okay. There's the man himself. Bye. Wow. Like I said, this was a long game. Do you know how many shorts this would have been? All right, here we go. You dash headlong toward the safety of the dark street and easily outrun your pursuers, still working their way through the rubble, when you disappear from their sight beyond the intersection. The city appears to you to be emptied of people as you walk through its narrow stone alleys and passageways. Many doors are barred shut with planks and painted with red crosses, as if there's an epidemic. In a desperate attempt to confine the infected to clusters generated by the demon of the disease. Among the scarred and ruined dwellings, one seems to offer easier access and possible shelter. Do we keep running, or try to hide in the ruined house? For a second, I was thinking that the house was the Red Death. That is it Prospero who's having the masquerade party while the plague's happening? So for a second, I felt like that we were going to go into the Mask of the Red Death. I don't know how much we get shoved into the Edgar Allan Poe stories, but I have a very Mask of the Red Death feeling in this area. But nonetheless, what are we doing? Are we hiding in the ruined house, or are we gonna keep running? Oh man, I know how to get rid of the delay, but I'm scared to go into it and tinker with it, and then the whole thing falls apart. So I'm just gonna not do that, and I'll wait for the answers. These houses don't seem safe. No, they don't. All right, so Mike says no houses, and you want to keep running? Houses don't see. All right, waiting on Vicarian Red Hawk 83. Yeah. What are these? Yeah. Is this all in our head? Like I don't know. Yeah, Mike wants to keep running. I'm assuming that's what these houses don't seem safe means. Maybe we'll meet a black cat, or a man buried under the floorboards, or someone tuned up in a wall. I think Edgar Allan Poe also kind of wrote the first sci-fi story with the guy in the hot air balloon. There was a time in my life in 9th grade that I read all the Edgar Allan Poe stories. It was in this like collected anthology in the poems and everything. I was a very moody child. Okay, let's go. It looks like we're keep running. Do you want to keep running? Okay. If you want to keep running, go to 166. Ooh, wrong direction. I saw a raven. 166. Here we go. Okay, the Inquisitors are on our heels. You sprint down the street with the Inquisitors on your heels. The men chase you down the narrow, run-down alleyways, giving you no respite. Your lungs burn and your muscles throb with pain. You feel like you've been running all your life and you're about to give in to cramps when a barrier of planks impedes you from accessing the central district of the ghost town. Turning back is out of the question, and with your pursuers closing in, there's no time to waste. You leap over the scaffolding and clamber without hesitation over the fence. Ooh, you may be right about the Jules Verne thing. If you possess the map, where are we getting this crap? No. Okay, so if we have a map, we could do something. Or if we had a bone shard, we could save the world. If you'd rather continue running, or if you want to catch our breath. Those are our two options, basically. And you're right, Jules Verne may have predated Poe. I may be totally wrong on that. And I may be wrong on this too, I think Poe supposedly wrote one of the first murder mysteries as well. About the orange hair found in the second floor apartment or something like that if someone was killed, beat to death. I'm probably wrong with that too. I like to be wrong. So are we going to still run, or are we going to catch our breath? That's kind of where we are right now. Sure. Yeah, and it sounds like they're hot on the heels, on our avatar's heels. That was a weird thing to keep. All of a sudden our avatar does this. It's not like you, all of a sudden it turns to our avatar. That was really weird, and it also got italicized. Yeah, I don't know. Is this gonna be like a never-ending story, and like there's just a kid reading an Edgar Allan Poe book in like in an attic at the end? I just don't understand what's happening. But yeah, let's keep running. If you'd rather keep running, 181. All right, here we go. If you weren't running for your life, you'd be paralyzed by the horror of the situation. The air is cold and foggy. The stones of the pavement have been torn up and scattered this way and that in the malodorous? I'm going to reread this and just not say that word because I don't feel like it. If you weren't running for your life, you'd be paralyzed by the horror of the situation. The air is cold and foggy. The stones of the pavement have been torn up and scattered this way and that. In the ankle-deep grass, rubble fills the streets. Fetid fumes overpower all. And the morning light filters spectrally through an atmosphere saturated with, pestilential vapors. Pestilential. Hard to say. Pestilential vapors. If you want to try to get your bearings, okay, so we're not running. We're either trying to get our bearings or we're going to hide. Just say stinky. Okay, thank you. The stinky. This way and that in the stinky grass. So we can either try to get our bearings or we can hide. This place sucks. So Mike just wrote "This place sucks." I first met Mike DMing a Curse of Strahd campaign, and every now and then I use his character's name, which was Glonk. In the he was the barbarian of the group, and that was like his kind of catchphrase. Was he would just go, "This place sucks," and yeah, he just hated it there. So he would always just say, "This place sucks," and yeah. But it does seem like we jumped to a different book, right? Like it's in a totally different... I wonder if he like looked back at the jail, if he would have continued in that storyline, or in like Kingdom Hearts or something. Stopping seems dangerous. Time to hide? Yeah, how do you feel about hiding? That's where we are. Sure, let's hide. Okay. If you'd rather hide, go to 90. Yeah, we don't have a map. We can't get our bearings. Let's hide. Maps and bone shards. Ooh, that was a neat little picture. Getting a little bit of spoilers. 90, 90. Ooh, there's... Ooh, rat in a skull. Whoa, whoa. Seen a lot of weird spoilers. You duck behind a pile of trash, certain that your pursuers won't be able to see you there. The barrier didn't stop them, and you hear them running in your direction. They won't give up. You realize that they'd follow you, without hesitation, in the jaws of death itself. You're desperate. Your opponents are getting closer and closer, and you can't do anything but breathe in the miasma. As you look around for an escape route, you perceive a large rat peeping out of a skull on the ground. It stares at you. You hear a shrill voice in your head like fingernails on a blackboard.
A man's age is counted by his mouth. A mouse's youth by its tail.
If you can solve the riddle, go to the corresponding paragraph. Otherwise, you're captured. Oh, Jesus. And you have to go to 69. Maybe it's not so bad. Waka, waka, waka. It seems like... It does. The chat is set for a delay. It's like it's a default. And it's a way to prevent people from spamming. But yes, there is a very long delay on the chats. And like I said earlier, I could go in and change it. I know how, but I'm scared if I do, I'm going to totally blow up this entire stream. So, but you are 100% correct. There is a very long delay, and it's tedious. So for next time, when I'm not actually streaming, I'll go and I'll change that. But so we do have this riddle. A man's age is counted by his mouth. So I'm assuming we're just counting the teeth, which it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the segments in the rat's tail. Is that the riddle? Yeah, exactly. So, but it says a man's age is counted by his mouth. So, is the answer like 70, and then however many segments are in the rat's tail? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 79. Or do we add them or subtract them? 7 teeth and 9 tail segments. So 79. All right. I can just maybe try like 5 more minutes. I just want to get to a good like stopping point. Because I know I'd say this would go for like an hour to 90 minutes. So thank you again. I will go back and watch this and be mortified about how horrible this was. And then I will make changes appropriately. But this is fun, and I'm glad I didn't do these as shorts, because holy moly, this would be a zillion of them. Even though I thought they were kind of cool. Okay. The small rodents... I can't listen to myself. The small rodent smooths its... smooths. Jeez. The tooth smooths. Oh, man. I hate this. I hate the tooth thing. The small rodent smooths its whiskers and leaps off the pearly white skull, making its way through the tall grass along the wall of dilapidated hovel making its way through the tall grass along the wall of a dilapidated hovel, revealing a small window of a cellar. You struggle your way in, cutting yourself on the broken glass, but you manage to get in just in time. You hear the Inquisitors curse in disbelief at your disappearance as you climb the stairs and exit onto the alley of a parallel street. Ooh, big jump. Ooh, there's Poe again. There's another little Poe. Ooh, that's a long one. Whoa, what's going on there? Oh my god. I see the map keywords. With each step, your path becomes more and more labored. The path... Man, see? Yeah, it keeps the paths. With each step, your path becomes more and more labored. The path is even narrower and more intricate. The large stones and beams that fall continuously from the ruined roofs above your head reveal, with their mournful, heavy thudding sound, the height of the surrounding houses. It takes huge effort to find an opening through frequent piles of garbage, and frequently your hands land on a skeleton or the corpse of a flayed beast. Suddenly, you find yourself at the threshold to a tall, black edifice whose windows are barred, and from the inside of which comes the roaring sound of wild laughter. Okay. If you have the map, which we don't, we can do something. If you decide to cross the threshold into the gloomy building with the roaring laughter, we can go to 111. Or if you'd rather walk away, 119. Roaring laughter, gloomy building, or walk away. Yeah, note to self. Let's go in. They could be serving brunch. They could be. Coffee. We could probably really use a mimosa. I'm not a Bloody Mary fan. Like brunch. Like if I was on death row and they said final meal, I'd just say like brunch. I want like an omelet, hash browns, toast and jelly, mimosa, coffee. Like I want a brunch. And I have celiacs, but I would just like full on get eggs Benedict anyway if I'm going to die anyway. Yeah, we're going in. Let's go in. Again, roaring laughter. This is making me think of, well, I guess Casa Amontillado. I think there was a party going on during that as well. Wasn't the guy in kind of like a jester's motley or something like that who got shoved in the wall? Anyway, that's what it's evoking in my head. I want this map. 111. Ooh, okay, we got a good one. Ooh, whoa. What is happening? There's a lot. Holy crap. Okay, this is maybe a good ending point because we got a lot of... Okay, let's see what happens. You pass through the dark entrance and find yourself inside what looks like an undertaker's shop. You walk between the coffins and wreaths of rotting flowers down the long corridor, hearing the sound of a high-pitched laughter growing louder and louder. When you reach the main hall, the door is open. A trapdoor in the floor in the corner next to the entrance reveals a well-stocked wine cellar, perhaps the reason for the ongoing celebrations. In the middle of the room stands an ebony table, in the midst of which you detect a huge vat filled with a liquid that seems to be punch, surrounded by a dozen bottles of wine, flagons, jugs, and carafes of every shape and kind. You count 6 people standing around the alcoholic feast. Some are seated on coffin trestles as if they were benches, including the person who seems to preside over the group. This strange personage is tall and gaunt, with a saffron yellow face and a forehead so hideously lofty that it looks like a crown of flesh. His mouth is puckered and dimpled into an expression of ghastly affability. Good turn of phrase. His 2 eyes... just weird... Why is it italicizing that he has 2 eyes? That's a little disturbing. His 2 eyes, like everyone else's around the table, are glazed over with the fumes of intoxication. He is dressed head to toe in a pall. Maybe that's how you say it? Wrapped around his form as if a cloak, and his head is adorned with sable hearse plumes. In his right hand, he holds a large human thigh bone, which he waved this way and that with a jaunty and knowing air. Maybe we can take it and turn it into a dagger. Sitting opposite him, with her back to the door, sits a lady of no wit, the less extraordinary appearance. In an equally unnatural emaciation. To the right of whom is a diminutive young woman who pours herself a drink. By her side is a puffy, wheezy, and gouty old man. Next to him, and to the right of the president of the table, is a bizarre man in an elegant suit, whose mouth and wrists are sealed with bandages of muslin. He stares at you with bloodshot eyes, as if recognizing you. Then we have this picture of a rat and a crown. This may be a great place to stop because we should probably write a lot of this down. Who are these cast of characters? Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. We have something going on in about a second. At the end of the grotesque parade, you notice an individual wearing, somewhat uniquely, a coffin. He glares at you treacherously. You notice that most of the diners are clutching a portion of skull, which they use as a cup, while on the floor, a rib cage has been filled with ignited charcoal, throwing a fitful but vivid light over the entire scene. Following the reflected light along the walls, you detect that about 20 lids unscrewed from their coffins are now fastened to the windows to prevent any rays of light from reaching outside, perhaps to keep away the inquisitors. Who's saying this, I wonder? Okay, here, this is in quotation marks. I don't know who the speaker is yet. Ooh, I'm going to use my toothless lisp to help with this. That's not precisely so. They daren't enter here, nor shall they ever. There are far worse annoyances that we prefer to avoid, the host gentlemanly of that bizarre group says. I regret that I have to draw attention to the unreliability of the narrator. Interesting. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I am surprised that you and your avatar even managed to reach us with such a guide. The man, if such a figure can be called thus, looks at you and sneers. That's enough. The introduction has gone on long enough. Leave us alone. And stop reading between the lines. You won't find anything of use here. Go to 101 now. We found multiple bone traits. Yes, we did. It says go to 101 now, so I'm guessing we can't take note of any of that, and we just have to immediately go. So I'm just going to keep on reading, because I feel like that's what has to happen. But I want to write that stuff down because that seemed important. What? Amontillado. Here we go. Here we go. Who? I have no idea who's talking. Is he gone? I don't know how you ever put up with him. With that obsession of his for grisly details and numbers. But forgive me, please. Have you avatar be seated? That has to be a typo. Please, have you avatar be seated? We haven't had guests here in a while. And wipe away that lost expression. I will gladly satisfy your each and every curiosity. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I am the monarch of this palace, and here I reign with absolute authority in the title of King Pest. Drink a goblet of sublime amontillado. Serve yourself at 42. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to just keep going until we hit a stopping point, but it's kind of just forcing us to do things. I'm excited that we're... Okay. Spain. It seems very Spanish right now. Ooh, that was a neat picture. I think I saw that one earlier. All right, just... Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Mike, you bring up a really good point. The avatar is the person that we're guiding, so that's like the little individual. We are the narrator, I guess? Oh my gosh, perfect stopping point, because something weird's about to happen. You are poured some wine into a skull, which you raise high into the air, and then drink all in one gulp without fanfare. The taste is aromatic and pleasant. But there's no time to appreciate the bouquet before King Pest leaps towards you, tipping over the bottles on the table and picks you up with superhuman strength. You can't gaze into those dead eyes of his, and so you shut yours tight, as he throws you into a nearby barrel as if you were just a puppet, to the great amusement of most of the people present. After bobbing up and down, we are back in italicized. This is where things seem to typically go bad. After bobbing up and down for a few seconds, like an apple in a bowl of toddy. Your avatar disappears in a whirlpool of in the sweet effervescence liquid. Of in. Interesting. 2 prepositions. I don't think that's proper. So after bobbing up and down for a few seconds, like an apple in a bowl of toddy, your avatar disappears in a whirlpool of the sweet, effervescent liquid. You regenerate at 76. I guess, so the question is, do we want to see where we regenerated and stop, or is this a good place to stop? But yeah, this seems to be we're like right at the cusp of a good place. Okay, slow start, just kind of going, where are all the puzzles? Like, they were all in the beginning. Like, we didn't hit any, except for like the teeth and the rat tail. That was the only like new puzzle for me. For you two, you also had the one that I knew the answer to of the crowns. But is this a good stopping point, or you just want to see where we regenerate and then at least think of an answer for next time? And whatever you want to do. Okay, well, I'm just tempted just to give us a teaser. Okay, let's get a teaser, and no matter what, I'm saying this now. We'll stop. I say that now. Hopefully we have a choice, and then we can think on it. Ooh, what's that? Whoa, that's a long one. I don't want to read that. Ooh, what's that? Are we at 76 yet? Jeez. What the hell? There. Wow. Whoa. Okay, this is a fun one. You regenerate in a puddle of dark liquid next to the barrel in which your corpse floats. King Pest bends down so that he is at your eye level, spreads a palm upon either knee, and bursts into a thunderous hurricane of laughter. Each time it happens, it's a true delight. Don't worry about the body. We'll make good use of it, as always. You notice that they're using the rib cage of your corpse as a grill, and you feel a deep sense of nausea. The avatar is merely a means used by others before you and trapped in this absurd hell, just like all the rest of us. Don't bother yourself too much with it, or else you risk missing all the fun. The king smiles and waves you towards an armchair that one of his men has prepared for you. It would be amazing if the bone shard is one of our bones. If your avatar is traumatized, we are not. Drowning brings back the terrible memory of the well. You lose control and helplessly watch your avatar escape from the cursed place and towards the Inquisitors who blah, blah, blah. That's not us. If your avatar has suicidal tendencies, that's us. You can choose to attack King Pest. Otherwise, head meekly to the armchair. Now your avatar is traumatized. Okay. Great stopping point. So we can either go to the armchair like we want, or we actually have the stated, not item, but condition of suicidal tendencies and to attack this King Pest person. I'm happy to see what you want to do, and then we'll find out next time what the answer is. So I'll wait for that. And that, hell, I'm assuming, Mike, that means attack. All right, so just waiting on you there, Vicarian, and then we will, we'll call that a go. And thank you so much. You guys helped me so much, get through this with the little technical issues I was having. I literally could not have done this without you. That would have been a mess. It's not showing up, but it's attacked. Man, good. That's how we're going to end. It's not showing up, but I've said attack twice. Perfect. Thank you for dealing with the frustrations you had to deal with. Thank you for dealing with my lisp. And King Pest is going to be attacked, but we don't have a bone shard, so he'll probably eat our face. And yeah, let's get together next time. Thank you, guys.